A lot of people get very upset when someone is going to die, and I'm quite relaxed about it, aren't I? Bye-bye, guys.
There are voices that stay with us long after they've gone silent. Voices that shaped an era, challenged the norms, and boldly said what others dared not whisper. Today, we remember one such voice, James Whale. On August 4th, 2025, the UK lost a broadcasting legend, a man whose fearless spirit and sharp wit redefined late-night radio and television. James Whale passed away after a courageous battle with cancer, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate in the hearts of millions. This is the story of his final moments, his powerful last words, and the tributes pouring in from around the world. Join us as we pay tribute to the life and legacy of James Whale, Britain's first shock jock, a man who never shied away from the truth. James Whale was not your typical broadcaster. Born in 1951 in County Durham, England, he began his career in the early days of commercial radio, carving out a niche as a bold and provocative voice. Whale's style was irreverent, outspoken, and often controversial, earning him the title of the UK's first shock jock. He pushed boundaries, stirred debates, and brought a new edge to late-night radio that had never been heard before. His programs were a mix of humor, hard-hitting interviews, and real human stories, delivered with a charisma that made him impossible to ignore. But behind the microphone was a man battling one of the toughest fights of his life. In 2022, James Whale was diagnosed with terminal cancer. 4 years, he fought the disease with the same grit and determination he brought to the airwaves. Despite the prognosis, Whale refused to let the illness silence him. He continued to work, speak out about his experiences, and inspire those facing their own struggles. On August 4th, 2025, surrounded by close family and friends, James Whale took his last breath. The end of a remarkable journey, but not the end of his story. According to those closest to him, Whale's final moments were filled with peace and acceptance. He was reported to have shared heartfelt words of gratitude and encouragement, reminding everyone to live boldly and love fiercely. "Don't be afraid to speak your truth," he told his loved ones, a message that defined his entire life. News of Whale's passing spread quickly, sparking an outpouring of tributes from fans, colleagues, and public figures alike. Sir David Attenborough called Whale a broadcaster who dared to challenge the status quo with wit and warmth. Fellow broadcasters shared stories of his mentorship and unwavering support. One close friend said, "James was a force of nature. His courage in life and death is a lesson for us all." Social media flooded with messages honoring his unique voice and lasting impact on British media. James Whale was more than just a shock jock. He was a storyteller, a fighter, and a friend to those who felt unheard. His willingness to discuss taboo subjects openly helped pave the way for honest conversations on mental health, illness, and personal struggle. His colleague and friend Mike Graham read an obituary on air and paid tribute to Whale, who had stage 4 kidney cancer. Whale was first diagnosed with cancer in 2000 and had to have one of his kidneys removed. Then, in 2020, he revealed the cancer had returned in his kidney, spine, brain, and lungs. Graham said, "James began his remarkable career in the early 1970s when he pioneered a new kind of radio in Britain, the late-night shock jock phone-in. By the late 1980s, the James Whale radio show had become a cultural phenomenon, broadcasting every weekend on ITV. He attracted millions of viewers, making him a household name. James would go on to host a variety of programs for ITV, Sky, and the BBC before finding a new audience for talk radio, all the while continuing to make headlines during his appearance on Celebrity Big Brother. In 2006, after surviving kidney cancer, James launched Kidney Cancer UK, raising hundreds of thousands of pounds. In 2024, James was awarded an MBE in the New Year Honours, recognizing his extraordinary contribution to broadcast and charity. James Whale broke the rules. He shaped the airwaves and did it all on his own terms. For millions, James wasn't just a broadcaster. He was a companion, a provocateur, and a good friend that we'll all never forget. God bless you, James. We'll miss you. His legacy is one of bravery, in his words, his actions, and his final farewell. In the world of broadcasting, voices come and go, but some leave behind echoes that shape generations. James Whale was one of those rare voices, unforgettable, unyielding, and unapologetically himself. As we say goodbye to this iconic figure, let us remember not just the shock jock, but the man who inspired countless others to speak up, stand strong, and live authentically. His story reminds us all, life is fleeting, but the courage to be heard can echo forever. Thank you for joining us in Remembering James Whale. If you were touched by his story, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt biographies and tributes. And as always, keep speaking your truth.